All right, welcome back to Broncos Country Tonight. Ryan Edwards, Benjamin Allbright, joined by Solomon Wilcots from PFF, his senior analyst. What's going on, Sally? How are you?
Ryan, I'm doing great and happy to be on with you and Ben today.
Yeah, we appreciate it. Great article talking about the modern running back by committee. And you, of course, referenced the 49ers. Patriots have run that too, by the way, doing the 3 running back approach. You called this kind of the evolution of the running back position. Now, we understand it's a copycat league. Why are more teams not doing this yet?
Well, I think some teams are really having to understand that when it comes to managing the salary cap and getting a great return on your investment, once you have to pay the quarterback these exorbitant salaries, you've got to figure out, okay, how can we still have a productive offense where we're building around the quarterback, giving him the players that he needs around him, but still make it cost effective. I think the 49ers did a really good job of that last year. They had the second most rushing yards of any team just behind the Baltimore Ravens. And they did it with 3 running backs that aren't really well known. And Raheem Mostert, Tevin Coleman, and Matt Breida, they produce similar numbers when it comes to all-purpose yards, rushing and receiving touchdowns, similar numbers to the great season we saw had by Christian McCaffrey. We know he had a great all-purpose sort of season in terms of production, but you got the same production from 3 guys in a multi-back system, but yet you don't have to pay the same amount of money that you're going to have to pay Christian McCaffrey.
Okay, so does this mean, Ben, that we don't pay Christian McCaffrey? Do the Carolina Panthers consider just letting him walk?
Well, I mean, it's tough to do. Anytime you've got an all-pro ball, do it all back like Christian McCaffrey, he's going to end up getting paid. But, Sally makes a great point, and that is utilizing your cap and making sure that you have positional allocation designed so that you can effectively construct a competitive roster. If you're dumping all your money into a running back and a quarterback, well, what are you going to pay your corners? What are you going to be paying your pass rushers? Where's that money going to come from? Where's that cap allocation going to be there? And so, I think it's a great point that you made in that article. You got 3 running backs that, I don't want to say they're totally interchangeable, but they are guys that it doesn't tip your hand when you put them on the field. Coleman, Breida, and Mostert all have similar skill sets. And when you can keep that cap allocation under 2% for the entire position group, that allows you to spend money and be better other places like the offensive line.
Okay, so the Broncos have obviously gone in a little bit different direction, bringing in Melvin Gordon. But, Solly, could you see them maybe even going with Melvin Gordon, Phillip, Lindsay, Royce Freeman, working with a little bit of a 3-back system? It's not exactly what Pat Shurmur's done in the past, but you said people need to adapt.
Yeah, I think it would be the smart way to go. Think about when you run a multi-back system as opposed to putting it all on one runner. It all but ensures that you're going to have a healthy runner to put behind your offensive line and behind your quarterback every single week, because you can, maybe if you run it, say 400 times during the season, you can divide up those 400 runs between 3 runners as opposed to putting the bulk of those carries on one guy from week to week. Sooner or later, that guy is bound to break down. Maybe it doesn't happen in one season, but certainly over the course of 2 to 3 seasons, you can see that production will diminish. And so you're really talking only about a budget of $8 million for the 3 running backs that the Denver Broncos currently have. That's only $2 million more than what the 49ers are paying for their trio of running backs. So I think it's really smart money by the Denver Broncos. They've got 3 guys who can really bring it. I love Phillip Lindsay. He's a hard worker, 1,000-yard rusher each of his 2 seasons in the league. Melvin Gordon has a chip on his shoulder, so I think he's going to be equally as productive.
Don't you think that this will help extend running back careers as well? If you could get a 3-back rotation like what the Niners had, you could essentially give a running back bye weeks in the middle of the season by rotating them through.
Absolutely. And that's exactly what the 49ers did with Mostert, Coleman, and Breida. Of those 400 carries, I think you had right between an average of 100 to 42, 150 carries for each one of those guys. And I think you can all but ensure, as I said before, you're going to have a healthy runner to put into your backfield. One guy's limping one week, you don't have to put it in the press. You don't have to tell the opposing team that one guy's not going to be available. The opposing team doesn't know who to prepare for, right? Whether it's going to be Royce Freeman, whether it's going to be Melvin Gordon, whether it's going to be Phillip Lindsay. You can use guys in different roles. I think all 3 should be interchangeable, able to go on 1st and 2nd down, but still affect the passing game on 3rd down. Because when you have that, you don't tip your hand to the defense what you can do with each runner in the backfield.
Yeah, that's the only part I guess I had the question about, because they do have a little bit different skill set, the Broncos running back. So again, I agree. You're not necessarily tipping your hand, but again, Melvin Gordon, great in pass pro. Phillip Lindsay, sometimes because of his size, he's going to get pulled over a little bit. So I guess that's the only question I have is, should the Broncos consider doing it where, hey, we're using Phillip Lindsay in certain scenarios and using Melvin Gordon in certain scenarios, or do you like just straight up interchanging them whenever you want to?
See, that's why we call it offense. That's because you're going to attack the defense. You are the aggressor. You don't necessarily have to allow the defense to dictate what you do with your personnel. I think even with Phillip Lindsay in there and someone wants to overload you and blitz you, all you have to do is fast release them and dump the ball to him. Last I checked, you can't hit the quarterback if he's not holding on to the ball. And that's the real key. I think if you go back to the old 49ers teams, those West Coast teams with Bill Walsh, he released 5 out every single time. You see the Kansas City Chiefs doing it. They don't keep a back end to protect, Patrick Mahomes. They're going to make you defend all 5 eligible receivers. And if you want to bring more than they can protect, Patrick Mahomes is going to get rid of the ball very quickly, and they're going to crease you. And I think that's how you have to attack defenses. You have to remain on offense. Don't play with a defensive mentality.
Great job, Solly, and great job on that article. Thanks for joining us, man.
Thanks for having me, guys. Greatly appreciate it.